All right, I'm here. I'm back doing it live. Y'all can stop your whining now. Okay, not everybody was whining. We're a few people like, oh, Victor taking more time off? Jeez. That's what time off is for, and I can use it however I please. And note to those of you who are like, oh, you're taking too much time off. Well, now I got to build up the time off again. So, yeah, not going anywhere anytime soon. Oh, boy. Not looking forward to that. So, yeah, if I had more time off, I wouldn't have been here today. I would have went to Electric Callboy last night. But there was only so much time I could take. Was a good trip, though. Great trip to Vegas. The weather was perfect. Sick New World was a great show. I'll recap some more of that later and talk about Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum. And yeah, we'll just kind of get into anything interesting that pops out of my head from the trip. But it was very nice. Very nice to get out of town, hang out with Becca. And actually, we got to relax quite a bit. Got some decent sleep, which, sometimes doesn't happen in Vegas. But luckily, Becca is down to take a nap sometimes. And got pretty good rest. I would have liked one more day, though. One more day to really sleep in. Because my alarm clock going off was the usual. It was a big fat no when I woke up. But we should have a fun day ahead. Maxed out on the K-Bear 101 Secret Sound jackpot. We got $1,048 up for grabs. Bosses are like, no, you can't put any more money in there. Just let somebody win it this week. So, anyway, looks like Peaches did not post any clues. So I'll get on to, but we need to get some clues up. I think at this point, we got to do some clues. Check out kbear.fm. That's where the clues and the incorrect guesses are posted. You can also sign up for a chance for us to call you there. So, all right. It's my Monday. I gotta get cracking. Wish me luck. But I was gonna say good to be back, but I'd still rather be in bed. Ram Jam, and before that, Showing Teeth with Labyrinth. What up? It's Victor Wilt, and actually got to see Showing Teeth live on Saturday. Sick New World, first band we saw that day. It was, I was gonna say it was a hectic day, but we actually took it pretty easy. And I hadn't been to an all-day music festival in quite some time. Take some getting ready and such, But luckily we had a hotel right next to the festival grounds. I did some good looking when I tried to figure out what hotel to get us. And was like, all right, this one should make the walk easy. But we actually scored, and our window in our room overlooked the entire festival. So the first night we were there, we're just kicking back and decided, all right, let's go to bed early. I'm beat from the drive. So I'm about to crash out. Becca's asleep. And I start hearing a rumbling, just a rumbling. I was like, oh, must be doing some sound checking. That's cool. And then I'm hearing System of a Down playing. I'm like, oh, they must just be blasting System of a Down through the PA system, getting people on the streets excited. But I decided, okay, I'll get up and look out the window. And lo and behold, System of a Down, the entire band is sound checking with their full light show and everything. And they must have played 7 songs. I posted a little video of this on our socials, but yeah, it was muffled. And I don't know how well you'd hear it on the video, but in the room, we knew what songs they were playing, got our own little private show, and then the next day we got the full show. But anyhow, we get there about noon, show up right when Showing Teeth is starting to play on the Diablo stage, and they were really good. They were really good. You could tell that the singer hasn't played tons of shows. I don't know, you can tell when somebody's super comfortable on stage, super comfortable talking to the crowd. It's not like she did bad or anything, just you could tell she was kind of new to it. However, performing live, really good. The band themselves, super tight. So that was an awesome start to the show. Then we watched a little of The Dark FM. They were pretty good. Watched a little bit of Snot. They were good. And then I think it was about that point we're like, okay, we got the feel for this place. Let's run back to the room, get some stuff we need. Because it was nice. You could come and go. When's the last time you saw a show with re-entry? Yeah, that was for everyone. It wasn't like I just had some special privilege. So we went back to the room. Becca decided she's going to take a quick nap, so I went down and watched Acid Bath. They were awesome. Then I decided to go back to the room and was like, well, maybe I'll take a short nap too. We woke up a lot of hours later, missed... we didn't miss like tons of bands, but we missed a decent chunk of the show. Watched Evanescence, Bring Me the Horizon, Korn, and System of a Down. They were all fantastic. System, you can just see why they're one of the biggest bands in the world. They just still own the stage, and they're super tight and sound so good. It was awesome. So that was that. That was that show. I'll get into, the Haunted Museum and such here in a bit. By the way, I saw somebody on social media accuse me of, not all of us get to just go to Sick New World on the company dime on a business trip. I wish. I can't even get a new chair, okay? You hear me complain about my chair in here? You think my company is going to pay for me to just go to Las Vegas and have fun? No, all right? My credit card statements, I'm sure, are going to not be so fun to look at, but I haven't looked at them. But yes, that was on my own dime, okay? Sometimes you got to splurge a bit and get out and have some fun. So anywho, oh man, I wish I was at home. It was so comfy to get back home. But doing pretty good. I'm going to chug more caffeine and find some stuff to talk with you about, okay? All right. We are rolling through the morning and it's moving by at a nice pace. I'm liking it. Well, some people aren't liking everything. I was reading through some posts on Facebook from the Sick New World group. Sorry, I'm going to be talking about this a lot because that's what I was just doing, all right? So anyway, these are comments I've seen regarding some local shows recently as well. And that would be, the crowd was too out of control. If you go to a large show that has a large open general admission area, sometimes referred to as the pit, people are going to shove people around in there and things like that. And if you have bands like Knocked Loose playing, mosh pits are going to open up. There is going to be crowd surfing. And you could accidentally maybe get kicked in the head by a crowd surfer or shoved, or who knows? If you got hardcore dancing going on, you might get smacked. But generally, and I watched videos from the pit at Sick New World, people were getting picked up when they'd get knocked down. This is all just typical pit behavior. And also people shoving their way through a crowd. We've talked about it multiple times on the show here. That is just how people did things back in my generation. Back in my day, meh. But no, this was a show featuring mostly bands from like the late 90s, early 2000s. And that's just what we did. Like if you wanted to get up front, you'd shove your way to the front. You'd just try to squeeze your way, fight your way through the crowd. That's something you have to deal with being on the floor. And you're going to have to deal with that at like any show where you're in the pit. Sorry. Like, yeah, if you go to a show at the Mountain America Center and you're on the floor, it's open floor, someone's going to shove you at some point. Someone's going to bump into you. If you don't want that to happen, you got to buy a seat. And if you don't want that to happen, I would recommend you don't go to festivals like the one we went to over the weekend because there are no seats. I guess there are scattered seats around and things like that, but it's not, stadium or arena style seating. Okay? You're just going to have to put up with this. And I see this after every show. I've had people get mad at me because I bumped into them at a show or that I was squeezing through the crowd. It's just how it is. Okay? Now, if somebody's like just punching people and being ignorant, you got to get security to, get in there and deal with them. But if it's just typical concert behavior, stop whining about it. Stop whining. I had a great time. I didn't have a single problem with anybody. I don't recall anybody being rude the whole trip. Was anyone ever rude at any point? Maybe. I seem to recall Becca getting mad at somebody at one point. But it must have been pretty minor because I don't even remember what it was about. All right. Well, if I remember and it's funny, I'll throw it out there, but it doesn't really matter. Anyway, just wanted to let you know, if you go to a show, somebody might touch you, okay? Just don't go to concerts if you can't handle being squeezed in a crowd or people bumping into you or maybe shoving by you. If you just can't handle that, just don't go to concerts or ensure that you're sitting in a seat far away from where people are sardine canned in. Happy Wednesday, y'all. It's the Victor Wilt Show. Back doing it live. Returning from the desert to the desert. A little bit warmer down in that other desert I was in over the weekend, though, gotta say. Once we took a little road break in Cedar City, I was like, okay, yeah, we're back in the home area. This sucks. It's cold. What do we got going on with weather? Is it going to warm up? I know it's, sucked for a few days. I mean, even in Vegas, it was, a little bit chilly at times. It was raining for a bit during System of a Down set. That was actually pretty cool. All right, let's look at, I was like, there's no way that's our weather. Guess the last time I was here, I was checking weather elsewhere. Warming up a little bit today, looking at a high of 58. Should be into the 70s by the weekend, so that's good. All right, I'll take it. Looking at a low tonight of like 31. Could be below freezing tomorrow night, maybe the next night, but after that, hopefully, no worries about your plants dying or anything like that. All right, what's going on online here? Something you tried once and immediately knew, yeah, never again. I kind of had one of those recently. If you're going to go out of town and take a really long drive, I would recommend that in the days leading up to that, you get as much sleep as possible, not as little sleep as possible. Yeah, doing a few days with like 4 hours of sleep in a row, and then, all right, let's hit the road first thing in the morning. It was not pleasant, all right? Not a fun drive. So I recommend lots of rest prior to travel. I mean, you might be thinking, I'm just going to be sitting there. But no, you need to be focused and alert. Driving through Salt Lake City. People drive like idiots. Let's see here. What are people online saying they tried once and would never do again? Kind of want to avoid these things even one time if I can. Telling someone to calm down during an argument. Yeah. I've done that. I've probably tried it more than once. And it's not the right phrase. All right? Calm down! That's not going to get somebody to calm down. This guy says blacksmithing. Now, that's something I would never think about wanting to do. He says he always wanted to try it, thought he might like it. His wife arranged a blacksmithing class, and he never wants to do it again. Says it was exhausting and frustrating. He was glad he gave it a shot, but never again. All right. Skydiving? Yeah, I don't think I'd try that one even once. Let's see here. Running a marathon. I ended up losing 8 toenails and had second-degree sunburns on my head and shoulders, but I did finish. 1 toenail down, I'm out. All right? Have you ever accidentally ripped a toenail off? I did it when I was a kid. Running around barefoot. It sucks, okay? And it takes a long time for them to grow back. 8? Ugh. Jeez. Okay, we got somebody calling. Let's just see what they want. K-Bear, you are live on the show. Keep that in mind. Who's this?
Hey, this is Joe. How are you this morning, Victor?
Oh, Joe, I'm doing pretty good. I guess you probably want some secret sound times, huh?
That would be awesome.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. I've been gone a couple days and I'm out of the rhythm. I'll figure them out right now and announce them.
Okay, cool. I'm glad you got to see System of a Down. That was really neat.
Yeah, they killed it for sure. It was awesome.
All right, appreciate you, man. Have a good day.
Hey, you too, Joe. See you, man. Peace. Okay, Secret Sound time. Secret Sound powered by the Advocates. Knew there was something I was going to do at 7:05. We'll do 9 and 3 today. All right? The 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock hours. Now, if you haven't been listening, we reached the maximum allotted amount for the Secret Sound jackpot, $1,048. We got to give it away this week. That's the most money the bosses will let us give away. So $1,048 up for grabs with the Secret Sound powered by the Advocates during the 9 and 3 o'clock hours. Just make sure you're listening for your chance to play and hopefully win $1,048. Since we've reached the maximum jackpot amount, we'll probably start calling more people. We'll start posting some clues as well. Get over to kbear.fm, check out the incorrect guesses. We've had a lot of people guessing the same thing that's already been guessed. While you're there, fill out the form for a chance for us to call you to play the Secret Sound and win $1,048 with the Advocates Injury Attorneys. Got a call from a listener a few minutes ago asking what my favorite thing we did in Vegas, aside from going to the big show, Sick New World, was. And I think it would probably have to be going to Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Downtown Vegas, Zach Bagans, he was recently here in East Idaho. Filmed an episode of Ghost Hunters at the Yellowstone Hotel in Pocatello. I don't know when that's going to air, but I think they also filmed in Lava Hot Springs at one point. Anyway, the Haunted Museum is basically what it sounds like, a haunted museum. The building itself, supposed to be haunted and packed to the brim with all kinds of haunted, cursed, and disgusting artifacts. I'm trying to think that this thing was kind of crazy, all right? It was almost 3 hours long. We decided to do it yesterday, as a matter of fact. Or no, 2 days ago. Which is why we did not get home on Monday. Because we decided to do this, I don't know, I think it was 10:30 a.m. All of a sudden we get out of there, it's like, 2 o'clock. I'm like, oh, geez, we got to hit the road. So we were driving and driving and driving, finally stopped in Nephi, and we're like, enough. Let's go to bed. Let's get some rest. Anyway, back to the Haunted Museum. Like I said, it was about 3 hours long. Trying to remember even a fraction of the things we saw in there, it's basically impossible. Haunted dolls, Peggy the Haunted Doll. Also, the most haunted item in the world, the Dybbuk box. And then they had all this, at times, kind of disgusting serial killer stuff. They had, actual clothes and weapons used by serial killers and, Charles Manson's ashes and bones. They had real dead bodies in there. They had a person's head. It was still pretty cool, though. And, they have these videos of Zach Bagans that pop up, and one of them was about an upcoming episode of Ghost Adventures. And he's like, okay, there's this one doll. I will never look at it again because the effects were so horrible on me. You can go around the corner and see it. So, of course, I did. A lot of people did not go look at that doll. The vibes in there at times got a little bit weird. There was, an exhibit that was Jack Kevorkian. They had his van. And, I'm not going to get into some of the subject matter here, but, Dr. Death's van. Now, Jack Kevorkian is a complicated subject, so I'm not going to, again, get into it. But the van gave me a little bit of creepy vibes. And then there was this one room that they made up to look like some serial killer's, torture cell. And they had very graphic photos on the walls, and then like the actual bed from the torture chamber, and it was all like stained, and that was pretty gross. Wasn't a big fan of that. But if you're into, paranormal stuff or true crime, it'd probably be right up your alley. And again, I think it was worth the money. We paid a little bit extra for what they call the RIP Pass, where you get to see some extra things, and you get a free t-shirt at the end. So getting a shirt plus, pretty much 3 hours of tour, I think it was worth what we paid, even though at first it seemed expensive. It was like $80 or something. Pretty good deal compared to other things you can do in Vegas, like going to the casino. Yeah. We did a little bit of that just for fun, wasted money, and we're like, okay, that was dumb. Enough of that. So there you go. That was the other fun thing we did that sticks out right now. I mean, you've got Fremont Street, you've got your wandering around, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that was pretty cool. All right, the AI slop on my Facebook feed getting a little bit weird today. Now they're trying to sell us crap using AI. I guess they have for a while, but these ones are pretty good. You've got, now I'm not saying videos of some girl crying is good, okay? But that's what the video starts off with, this girl crying. She's like, nobody wants to buy my watches. And it shows a video of her at like a farmer's market. Some kid walks up and like, who would want to buy your stupid watches? And he throws one on the ground. And then she's, back to crying. I worked, all day to build these watches. And then it cuts to a video of her in like a shop building the watches, meticulously putting these little gears in and things like that. And then it's got a link to where you could go buy her watches, and people are wishing her luck in the comments and saying how sorry they are that people were rude to her. And then you keep scrolling the comments and somebody posts an image from Temu and like, yeah, sorry, you almost got me with this one. And it's just a store selling watches they've bought off Temu, and they jacked the prices way up. And there's a bunch of different videos for this same store. Had another one pop up with watches. The other one was about just goth clothing and things like that. And they all followed the same formula of someone just being rude to, some young lady. And then she gets upset and she's all sad because she worked so hard on her business. And, does anybody want to buy my stuff? So be careful to not get duped by sob stories online. In this day and age, anything can be fake. And yeah, it's, an AI video that looked pretty real. Even though when you think about it after the fact, you're like, okay, this is kind of ridiculous and seems a little bit too well produced. How did they happen to catch somebody just in the heat of the moment while she's working at Walmart, a coworker just belittling her about her goth business? Yeah. But that's how they get you, A quick, I gotta buy this girl's watches. I better get on it. And then after the fact, you're like, this watch sucks. What happened? Oh, I got duped by AI. Okay. Bees. They can make quite the good weapon. But you're gonna go to jail. All right? Gonna go to jail if you set the bees on people, especially if they're the police. I guess in Massachusetts, there was a woman trying to help her neighbor who was being evicted. And so when the sheriff's office showed up to evict him, he was an elderly man with cancer. She decided, she's not going to stand for it. So she released her truckload of hives. Just set the bees on him. And several officers were stung on their heads and faces. One required hospital treatment. And also about 1,000 of her bees died when the hive toppled, when she was trying to unleash the bees on the sheriff's office. They said it was unlike anything our team has ever experienced. Oh, and there's incident or video of the incident on YouTube. When someone gets the bees set on them, I'm just going to assume there's profanity, so I'm not going to pull the video up right now. But, this was a 60-year-old woman, not taking any crap. She's going to be in jail for a while, though. Where was that other story about bees? Let's see here. Swarm of 10,000 bees settles on a bike outside of the Louvre in Paris. Looking at a picture of this bicycle here, that's nightmare fuel. That's when you know you just don't have a bike anymore, pretty much. I don't know why this is newsworthy of the BBC, but apparently it is, and they've got the picture, and yeah, if that was your bike, that would suck. That's when you just burn it with fire. Yeah. Let's see here. Greece to ban anonymity on social media. That would be great. I do think that would be great, because it's always those fake or anonymous accounts where somebody really chimes in and has something stupid and negative to say. It's like, no, come on, show your face. Huh? If you got something to say, what are you afraid of? And if I've got something to say to somebody, I'll hit them up directly from my profile. Doesn't mean they're going to answer, but I tried to hit up this one idiot last week, and it's like, come on, dude. Just answer my message. What are you afraid of? But when you're dealing with idiots, that's usually how it goes. So, anyway, yeah, could we ban anonymity on social media here in the U.S.? That'd be fantastic. You know, next time I get a message from Peter Griffin, you know, with some snide remark, like, oh, let's go ahead and unmask you. Let's see who you really are. Ah, don't hide behind fake profiles. It's lame. All right, it's after 8 o'clock now. I'm going to dig up more crap to talk about, and let's just hope this day goes by quick. I'm ready to be done with it. And it's a little too early to be feeling that way. We got a ways to go. All right, this story's kind of gruesome, kind of disturbing. Just a warning, okay? Seems like the kind of thing we would have read about at that haunted museum or something. Place was bizarre. If you didn't hear me talk about it earlier, you can fire up this show on demand everywhere that podcasts can be found, okay? Oh, let's see here. This guy, he must have needed some money. And he knew his sister had some money in the bank. How long had she been passed away? Well, what happened is basically this guy brought his deceased sister's skeleton to the bank to try to get her money out. Yeah, there's a video of him just carrying her on his back, and he just keeps going in and out of the bank like, hey, I need to withdraw her money. And they're like, well, your sister passed away months ago, so what are you doing with her body? Yeah, he apparently dug her up to take her to the bank multiple times. And you'd think with that kind of effort, they'd give him the dough, right? No. No, you're just going to look like a freak show. Ed Gein style, digging up dead people to bring them to the bank to get money. So the local news, interviewed him and everything. I would think that if you did that here, you would get arrested, right? I don't think you can just dig people up, even if they are family members. And even if you're, trying to accomplish something like getting money out of the bank. So, I don't know, I guess that they're trying to assist him in completing the withdrawal process through the correct legal channels, and his sister's remains have been reburied. What a freak show. What a freak show. Oh, speaking of freak shows. What's up, Peaches?
What's happening?
Just talking about dead people and stuff.
Nice.
The huge on this program.
Yesterday, Jeff and I were talking about how many people fall off of cruises and how they need to install those suicide nets on the side of the boat.
Yeah, because it's a long drop from some of those cruise ships.
And some of them get sucked right into the motor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Meat cube.
Cruise ships are no way to travel. Between potential accidents and norovirus and
sea
other
sickness, and just annoying people.
Exactly.
And you're on board with them for who knows how long.
Oh, what's worse, an airplane or a cruise ship?
I would say a cruise ship.
It's got to be a cruise ship.
Yeah.
Moves so much slower. And eventually you can get off the plane and away from the people.
Right. And you can only imagine, in the middle of the night when you're in the middle of the ocean, you go outside and there's nothing. and you just see
Yeah, that'd be
darkness.
a little bit terrifying. I'm not really down with that. No. Well, anyhow, I'm here, people. We're doing it live. And Peaches and I will be back with more in a few, all right? Hang on. Well, I didn't see this on the notepad till you pointed it out. Kind of like you missed my notepad. Well, just oblivious. I mean, I've only been here for a couple hours.
Yeah, we were talking off the air about how I didn't know what times the secret sound was, so I had to go back and listen to the break because obviously I'm not up at 7:05. I'm going to bed.
And
I'm still asleep.
I'd put them on a notepad in bold print.
That's not bold print.
That's pretty bold. And it's right here, just right next to the chair.
That's chicken scratch, dude. That's not...
Whatever, Peaches.
What did Victor write? That's our next promo.
Yeah, I tried to be completely prepared when I went on vacation. And by the way, I have the right to go on vacation. I have the right to take time off. Nothing wrong with it. That's what PTO is for. Your own time off.
Yeah, I didn't fall asleep on Monday till like 5 a.m., so I'm like, I'm going to take the day off. And so I did that.
So neither of us were here on Monday.
No, I told Jade, I'm like, could you please take care of the secret sound? He never answered back, so I don't know what happened. Maybe he was just too busy with other things, or...
Well, the jackpot's maxed out right now at $1,048, so we'll just have to give some extra chances to win this week. Well, in case something didn't happen Monday. I don't know what happened.
Well, we are on Friday, if nobody gets it.
If nobody gets it on Friday, we're going nonstop during the noon hour of madness and mayhem until we get a winner. And yeah, we need to put up some clues. I noticed no clues up there yet.
It is not a stapler.
That's not a stapler.
That
Clue number
guessed
1.
4 times.
Yeah, please check out the incorrect guesses at kbear.fm.
Typewriter, the same thing, guessed twice.
Yeah. Don't waste your guess. You're throwing money in the garbage.
I feel like the incorrect guesses are clueful enough.
Yeah.
Clueful.
Clueful. I get what you're saying, even if that isn't a word. But back to the listeners being very concerned when I go out of town. You got to settle down a little bit. I know that Lauren was, melting down a couple different times on our K-Bear 101 Idaho Rock and Metal group. One day she said something like, it must be nice to be able to take a company business trip to go to Sick New World.
You called me all mad, by the way. You're like, why'd you approve that post, Peaches? Like, you were cussing me out and stuff. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, just swearing at Peaches.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even get a new chair in here. All right, do you think that the company's going to pay for me to just go hang out in Vegas and have fun?
I had to buy the guitar hangers for $20 because they told us there was not enough room in the budget.
Exactly. Look around this room. All these lights and things that are in here.
That's yours.
I brought them from the house. Yeah. That green screen over there. I brought it from home. They're definitely not paying for me to go to Vegas. So you said listeners had predictions about what I will say when I get back.
Well, most of
Vegas.
these were what me and Jeff were saying, basic common knowledge. And then Crazy Carl called in and gave us the last one.
Okay, let's see if I've said any of these yet today. I'll come back with a bug. Amazingly enough, no. It's because I didn't travel by plane.
I'm not trying to jinx you, but I feel like in a couple days you'll be like, I got something in Vegas.
Oh, well, the first night that we were there, I woke up in the middle of the night and my throat was feeling a little bit scratchy. And I was like, no. But then I woke up in the morning and was fine. So, nope, did not come back with a bug.
That was you breathing in the smoke, the cigarette smoking filled air.
We didn't really go into casinos. So we didn't have to endure a lot of smoke or things like that. Have I said I was tired from the trip? I think I just said I was, I probably mentioned being tired or that I'd rather still be on vacation, that I'd rather still be in bed.
I do love Becca's series of trying to talk to you when you're asleep. She sent like another full-on video yesterday.
Yeah, as long as she ain't posting those publicly while she's just making me babble insane whatever's going on in my dream world thoughts. Days. So, yeah, I think I did say I'd rather be in bed. I have mentioned caffeine this morning because I drank some. My stomach does not hurt. I have not said that my stomach hurt. That's true. Yet. I haven't went and got that next cup of coffee. That's usually when the stomach will start hurting. My back, it does hurt a little bit, but I hadn't mentioned it till now. But it still hurts from when I fell down in the hot tub last week. So that's not too surprising that I would mention it because, yes, It still hurts. It's not as bad.
I finally had the image of you naked falling out of the hot tub out of my head, but now it's back in there again.
Bring it back in. Me naked in the hot tub, falling down, breaking my back. And,
You flopping on the ground like a fish.
And Crazy Carl said he thought I would mention that I missed my cats and my cats miss me. I missed the cats, but I haven't mentioned it. And of course they missed me. What kind of cats would they be if they didn't miss me? The minute I got home, they were standing by their food dishes, so happy to see me.
Who took care of them when you were gone?
Josh.
Oh, okay, good.
And then Becca's sister watched Millie the dog. So, the cats and dog got a little break from one another. So I'm sure they both enjoyed that. Now I just got to finish unpacking and clean my house.
I'm glad I have 0 pets. I'm glad I don't need to worry about someone watching, coming into my place and, watching some dumb dog or whatever.
Oh, I know. I told Josh, sorry about the smell. Haven't had a chance to shampoo the carpets. Those cats are terrors. So I'm sorry.
My mom used to be on the verge of tears watching when we'd leave for vacation, and the dog would be in the window watching us. And she'd be like, "Oh, look at Daphne, I miss her already." I'm flipping her off still. I'm like, "Take that."
Glad, good riddance. I don't want to see you, dog.
Yeah. I'm gonna kick you when I get home. Just kidding. I would never do that.
Pigeon would never kick a dog. Never. Even if he talks about it all the time.
Yeah.
His favorite Ian Munzik song is that one about kicking a dog. Kick my dog! It's the Victor Wilt Show. Peaches is hanging out.
Sorry, I keep barging in.
That's okay.
I have so much stuff to tell you because you've been away for the past couple of days.
That's right. You leave Peaches for a few days, and it's just, I gotta tell you about everything.
That's right.
Everything happening.
You want to hear about this random NFL player that died? Well, he did.
So it looks like, was this yesterday that this tour was announced?
Yeah, put it on our concert calendar, riverbendmediagroup.com/calendar. There was a lot of shows announced yesterday. I showed Jeff one of them. He freaked out. It was Taking Back Sunday with Thrice opening up for them and Saves the Day.
Okay, I mean, I'd like to see Thrice, but...
You want to see those other emo crybaby bands, don't you? I was telling Jade about it. He had some opinions on Taking Back Sunday. It was pretty funny.
Did he?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'll have to ask him about that when he returns from Electric Callboy. Yeah, this tour is a very metal show, hitting Boise and Salt Lake. That's pretty cool.
One of the bands, Contortionist, is not going to be in Boise for that tour, for that show,
Okay.
But they will be in Salt Lake City.
So you've got Dying Fetus with Sanguisugabog, Crowbar, and Left to Suffer.
It's Crowbar. That's the one that's going to be off the Salt Lake or the Boise show.
They're not playing Boise. Okay. Well, I would not want to go to this show and not see Crowbar.
Crowbar sounds awesome.
Crowbar is awesome. But you said that a number of radio stations around the country are promoting the show.
98 KUPD, 100.3 The X over in Boise. They said 100.3 The X presents Dying Fetus. And I got a good laugh out of that yesterday.
Well, yeah, I don't think you should do presents if you don't play the bands on a regular basis.
Call Big J right now. Ask him to name 3 of their songs.
Yeah, name 3 songs. I can't say the name of them on air. But you see this happen all the time with radio stations. They'll go out on stage and announce bands they don't play. They'll present shows for bands they don't play. I just don't see the point.
I think that's so funny just to see 2 short, fat guys like Big J and Nick just go on stage. Who's ready for Dying Fetus?
Yeah, I
really want to hear Big J say Sanguisugabog.
Yeah, I doubt they've played any Sanguisugabog on the morning show.
We have one of their songs, Fiending for Bloodshed.
But we could play some Sanguisugabog. Sure, I'm not afraid to. That's how you do it. You play some Sanguisugabog on the morning show because there are no rules saying that you can't.
You said their band name and now everything's floating in the room.
Could be because I looked at a haunted doll, Peaches. It could be because of that. Who knows what kind of spirits came back with me from Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum.
Have you seen the online tours of the Zach Bagans Museum where they take the Good Morning America crew or one of the people from that show, and he goes inside the museum and they tell him not to look at the mirror. I looked at the mirror for 2 seconds. Now I see my dead aunt, or something like that.
They definitely try to get you a little worked up when you're going through the tour. This one room you go in, and it's a haunted doll named Peggy, and it's in this case,
I'd be haunted too if my name was Peggy.
I know, it's a terrible name for a doll or a person. Peggy. So anyway.
She walk with a limp.
Jeez, Peaches. So she's in this case, and it's got like some kind of frosted glass that they can, I don't know if it moves up and down or what, but anyway, they're like, all right, if you want to look at Peggy in the face, we're gonna remove the glass. And I think everyone was fine looking at Peggy the doll, because they're like, all you got to do is say, hi, Peggy, and bye, Peggy. And then you don't have to worry about evil spirits getting attached. But in the next room over, they got a new doll. And this video pops up, and it's Zach Bagans, and he's like, in an upcoming episode of Ghost Adventures, we talk about this doll. I looked at it once, and I will never look at this doll again.
Oh, jeez.
And he goes into all these horrible things that happened to him and his crew after they acquired this doll. And he was like, yeah, I was going to bury it, but I decided to put it in the museum. And if you want, you can walk around the corner and look at the doll. And I'd say half of our group walked around and looked at the doll. I looked at it. It's a weird looking little doll. Becca did not look at it, but so far everything's been fine. And they didn't give us any kind of chant or incantation to say after we saw that one.
I'd be messing with people, telling them to like jump up and down, go ooga booga.
Start acting like you're passing out in there, because they'll show you the security footage and like, in this room, one man, he took one look at this display.
And he killed his wife.
Pretty much stuff like that.
He pulled out a knife right then and there.
It was really fun, though. I mean, it was long. It was like almost 3 hours long.
It's a big museum.
Yeah. The setup was really cool. I thoroughly enjoyed it. You're not allowed to take pictures in there with your cell phone, but you can rent a Polaroid camera from them. So, of course, we dumped a bunch more money into the tour doing that.
I'm sure that thing was like, what, $30?
$50.
$50.
$50 for 10 pictures. But we took some pictures in there. That doll, Noma, one of the 2 items you're not allowed to take pictures of in there. And
why?
So, well, that one I'm guessing, they're, you're going to get haunted. The other one was Charles Manson's ashes and bone chunks.
But why?
I don't know. They have a head in there, a person's head.
It's Walt Disney's.
No, it's just, I don't remember whose it was, but they were like, we're putting this head here in honor of this person who was decapitated at blah, blah, blah. And they're like, it's a real head.
And you get to see John Wayne Gacy's van, too.
It was Dr. Kevorkian's van.
That's the one.
But they did have paintings from John Wayne Gacy, a bunch of creepy serial killer stuff.
Isn't that an Acid Bath album cover? One
of
them? Yeah.
Yeah, actually, one of them was a Jack Kevorkian art. The other one was a John Wayne Gacy art. And both of them are hanging up in that haunted museum. And I think the John Wayne Gacy one was the original painting. That was kind of weird, the serial killer stuff. Like, here's Ted Bundy's ice pick that he used to kill people.
Isn't that weird?
It is weird.
You get to see, this actually killed someone back in the day.
Yeah, and they had his, like a face mask, a ski mask, his... Like all the stuff that the Utah Highway Patrol busted him with, his bag full of ropes and stuff. Here it is. Check it out. Get a good close look.
Like how did Zach get this kind of thing?
That's what, and I think they said, like, got it from so-and-so police officer or whatever. But it's weird you can buy those items. Like, probably the most, I'd say, gross display in that museum was they set up like a replica of some serial killer's torture chamber.
It's not the actual person's head. No, it's the replica of the torture chamber.
Yeah, but in the torture chamber, they had the actual bed that was in this torture chamber with stained, filthy sheets. And they're like, that was from his last victim. And the actual, knives and some type of electrodes that he would hook to needles and like stab into people. It was crazy.
Did they also have the guy impersonating Jeffrey Dahmer going, I just want to take some pictures? He takes your Polaroid. And...
Nothing like that. Only a couple jump scares up in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's mainly about like, look at this. Hopefully you don't leave with, a spirit attached to you.
Did you look at the mirror, the haunted one?
Yeah, I looked at the mirror.
Like if you see your reflection, you'll see someone behind you, or you'll see something else, or
yeah. And I think after
what are those things called in Harry Potter? Dementor.
Yeah.
You'll see one of those come out of the mirror.
I did, and it's like, well, this is a mirror that looks like it needs to be cleaned. You know,
You walk over some
it's
Windex
like pretty
or
hazy. I bet people would see some weird stuff in this mirror because you can barely see in it.
See, the thing I would do is if we had like a haunted doll, I would be in the roof or have someone very small in the air vent above, and you tie the fishing wire to the doll, and you make it wave at people, and it really just freaks people out.
That would have been great. That would have been great. You know,
This Raggedy Ann
I
doll's-
saw it move. I swear I saw it move.
This doll's flipping me off.
So yeah, if you ever get down to Vegas, if you're into horror, true crime, the paranormal, anything ghost related, I think it was worth the dough.
We got to add some Ghost Adventures quotes to Imaging,
Oh, they're
especially
funny.
for Halloween.
Because he's so over the top.
Is this a mocking of the Trinity? K-Bear 101.
Yeah, no word yet on when the Pocatello episode is going to air.
I so wish I went down there and tried getting him or tried meeting him, because I would have loved having a K-Bear liner from him.
That would have been cool. Yeah, he was obviously not there at the time, but our tour guides were really good.
He
It
lives
was
in
fun.
Vegas, though.
Does he?
Has a massive house.
Ah.
He should have met with Zoltan from Five Finger Death Punch. See his giant castle with the only
Oh, yeah.
lake in Vegas.
You know, at this one, I don't think we bumped into any celebrities or rock stars the whole time.
There were a lot of influencers there. Like one
Yeah.
guy was watching Showing Teeth. That one, the guy that reacts to a bunch of different metal tracks.
Yeah.
He was there. I was going to be like, hey, say hi to Matt.
Yeah, you should have told me. It was almost impossible to find people though, because there was like 60 to 80,000 people there. So I saw some K-Bear listeners posting from there. I never saw them. The only person I encountered, I was actually walking, I think, to the festival or something, and some guy yelled as he was walking by, or didn't really yell, but he's like, "I think that's Victor Wilt." But it's all crowded, and so I didn't see who it was.
See, I'd be very easy to spot. Come on.
Yeah,
I should have went.
You'd be easy to spot. Me, though, no. And I did not spot any K-Bear listeners or anything like that. So
We should have went down there together and recorded the video of me like standing in front of you, and you're like all mad.
Get
You
that
start
big guy out of my
screaming at
way.
me, and you start pushing me, and we make it a whole viral clip.
I already talked about it earlier on the show, but there were a lot of people complaining about people shoving through to the front and
That's what happens.
getting pushed in the crowd and
And I
how
bet
terrible
you
the crowd was.
They
And
were
I was like,
all small women.
I don't know. I didn't look at the profiles, but it's like, yeah, if you're going to go to a show where it's a bunch of people who grew up in the late 90s going to see their favorite bands, they're going to behave how people used to behave at shows. Watch Woodstock 99 Trainwreck. All right? Things were different back then than they are for Gen Z now at shows.
I wouldn't care about I would actually love to go to a show with the older crowd. I feel like they wouldn't pull out their phones as much.
Yeah, no, dude, I thought the crowd was great. I didn't encounter one rude person that I can recall. It was great. No complaints. Well, let's get into some explosive news. News dealing with explosives. Man, this one might make you feel a little bit better about your relationship. In every relationship, you get into some arguments from time to time, but generally they don't end in dynamite. Where do you even get a stick of dynamite? This was in New York. This 35-year-old woman got into an argument with her boyfriend. He decided to go to bed. So what she did was took a stick of dynamite and chucked it in his bedroom while he was sleeping. He woke up with the hissing sound, the dynamite fuse. And he sees a flame, so he gets up, tries to extinguish it, can't get it to go out. So he tries to throw it out the window, but it blows up in his hand, blew his hand right off. They also had to amputate part of his arm. She blew his hand off with dynamite because of an argument. No word what the argument was about, but I don't know. It would have to be a really bad argument to justify chucking a stick of dynamite into somebody's bedroom, right? I would assume the argument had ended with, all right, I'm going to go into my room and I'm going to get a weapon. Then you chuck this stick of dynamite. As far as I know, this story didn't have that. There was another guy who was arrested after shutting down Interstate 90 with a tennis ball bomb. I'm not sure where this is. Is this Seattle? Seattle area? I think so. I think that's where KIRO is from. Anyway, guy gets pulled over, and while he's fleeing from law enforcement, he tries to light a tennis ball bomb. He had hollowed out a tennis ball, or I guess they're already hollow, but filled it up with some type of explosive powder, put a fuse in it. I guess was going to chuck it at the cops. It didn't do anything. And then they also found a bunch of sparklers taped together to make a second explosive device. Guess this guy's been reading the Anarchist Cookbook or something like that. So they finally get him to pull over. And he's like, I didn't know about any of these explosives. And of course, they find him with a bunch of fentanyl. So, yeah, don't do drugs. Drugs are bad, okay? The idea to let's whip up some bombs doesn't sound like generally a sober thought. I would assume if you're under the influence of something that could make your decision making a little bit poorer, that's when you get more likely to make explosives and drive around Seattle. So don't do drugs, don't make bombs, don't throw dynamite into your boyfriend's bedroom or anyone's bedroom for that matter. It's not cool. And there's your explosive news of the day. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Victor Wilt Show Wednesday edition. All right. Getting us closer to that weekend. Heck yeah. Okay. A lot of teens up to some dumb pranks as of late. If you're going to do a prank, try to do a prank that's not going to get you arrested or into the national news. It's an embarrassment to your family. Got a couple of 18-year-olds in Florida arrested for driving a lawnmower through a Target store and then using a leaf blower in Culver's for social media stunts. Yeah, you're just trying to get by. Your day at Culver's, you're whipping up burgers and fries. Somebody come in and put a leaf blower in your face. I'd be irritated. The police saying the actions endangered people, caused property damage, and resulted in criminal charges. I mean, yeah, a lawnmower can do some damage. All right, they damaged a door. And what if they'd gone over somebody's foot, right? I would assume the blade was spinning. But I don't know. I wasn't the one riding the lawnmower. Also, you should make sure to tell your kids about these stories. Not to, obviously, encourage them, but to discourage them from this type of behavior. You do end up going to jail often for TikTok trends. Another one that's getting people thrown in jail is the storming of the Scientology building in Los Angeles. A lot of these videos going around of teens just kind of barging in and then seeing how far they can run in the building. Well, yeah, if you run into somebody or damage anything, you're going to go to jail, okay? And when you post videos of yourself doing it on your social media pages, that would be self-incriminating. So tell your kids to not be dumb, all right? The clicks ain't going to be worth it. You're going to have to offset lawyer fees and court costs and whatever other fees you rack up during your time in jail. You got to get a lot of views on your videos to get that kind of payout. So just keep that in mind, okay? Wow, today's show went by quite quickly, which is something I'm not going to complain about. Yeah, I mean, that's a good thing, right, on a Wednesday? Heck yeah. It's not like I took a cobra bite to the leg or something. Why on earth would I complain? No, I read an article about a guy who got bit by a cobra. He's dead now. If you go on vacation, you might head somewhere where they have entertainment options available that we don't have here, like snake charmer shows. Maybe you visit Egypt, and you're like, oh, look at this. We've got a snake charmer show. Okay, when it gets to the point that the snake charmer is letting people hold the snakes and put them around their necks, that's when you leave. Like, all right, I've seen the show, time to go. Don't take part in the meet and greet, Because at one point, the snake charmer let one of the snakes, cobra, climb up this guy's pant leg, where he was then bitten, taken to the hospital, and he's no longer with us. I gotta say, how brave you gotta be to let a cobra climb up your pants. You think I'd even go near holding one? No, if you followed our social media pages for quite some time, saw me holding a python in one of those videos. Yeah, total wuss. Total wuss. I'm like, get it off me. However, I will say I've gotten pretty good at, holding Jacob the little leopard gecko. He's pretty friendly. He's bitten me before and it didn't hurt, so now I'm not afraid. And I do occasionally hold him, and I talk to him often. But he ain't a snake. He's a lizard. All right. Guess I gotta continue playing catch up around here. Tough coming back from being out of town and getting back into the swing of things. I don't like this whole, normal day stuff. It's not as fun as I've been having. Oh, well. That's what happens when you're a rock and roller. Thank you again for tuning in to The Victor Welch Show. This program is a production of Riverbend Media Group. To contact the show or for more information, hit us up at riverbendmediagroup.com.